What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crowded Lake. Today we are continuing the fanfiction Our Song as Interside's fanfic on Wattpad by ineedofsleep. I'd like to remind you that if you'd like to suggest a fic, you could do it down below in the Google form. Also, if you go to my second channel, which is also a link in the description, you can find a video where I am taking suggestions or submissions for a new profile picture until this Friday the 23rd. If you'd like to follow along with the book, you could go in the description to click the book link, or if you'd like to support the creator of this fanfiction, you could click the link in the description also. With that, on with the story. Chapter 6. The Past. Remy's point of view. My little bro is fucking confusing. Earlier today, he found his soulmate, and the first thing he does is threaten him. I let out a chuckle. At least his soulmate is still alive. Flashback to years ago, when Remy was 9. Don't worry, Rem. I won't bother you anymore. I wonder what he means by that. Wait, why do I care? I hate him right now. He ran off. Probably going to his house. I don't care. It's not my fault he's a meanie. What does my soulmate have to be him? I start walking home. At least Virgil will be there for me. He's always there for me. The park was nearby. I need a break before I go home. I walked over to the swings and sat down on one of them. I gently pushed myself forward. I sighed and dragged my feet on the ground, stopping the swing. I looked up at the sky. There are a few dark clouds coming. Probably rain. I better find somewhere. I looked around and soon found a coffee shop near a dark to go into. Starbucks? Must be the West Coast. I went inside. Not much people. A few girls, some boys, and the workers. I still have a few bucks in my pocket. Maybe I could order something. Father wouldn't like me drinking coffee. Meh. Hello, dear. Where are your parents? Home. Can I get a coffee? She hesitated and looked around. Looks like she won't sell to a kid. Does she even know who my father is? I quickly shook the thoughts out of my head and threw a $50 bill on the counter. She took a look at me and like I was the freaking Pope. Whoever that was. I just know he's some famous dude from England or something. Where did you get this, dear? My father. Can I have a coffee? She slowly nodded and took the money. Just one? I thought for a minute and shook my head. How many? As many as they'll get me. Maybe I could die of a coffee overdose, or maybe Father won't ever forgive me for drinking coffee if I bought him one. Oh, which kind? She motioned towards the menu. How are there so many different coffees? I don't care right now. Surprise me. She nodded. Name? Remy. Should I tell my last name? Nah. A few minutes passed with her and some other workers making coffee or something. Remy? I walked over to the counter, and all I could say is, I've never seen so many drinks at once in my life. There may have been 10 whole cups of coffee filled in front of me. You okay, sugar? Gonna need some help? I shook my head. Do you have a phone I could borrow? I need to call someone. She nodded and I handed her cell. I typed in my dad's number. Hello? Father, can you pick me up? Remington, where are you? Whose phone are you using? I'm at the coffee place near the park. Can you pick me up? I'll send Gabe. Wait there. He hung up. I handed the lady's phone back. I have someone coming to get me. She nodded and went back to her business. Gabe arrived a few minutes later and was surprised at how much coffee I had. I drank about 3 cups before he got there and was now a bit hyper. He helped me anyways, probably because Father is his boss or because I know how to shoot with good accuracy. I waved goodbye to the nice lady that gave me coffee before jumping in the car. On the ride back, I started humming my song and remembered what happened. Then all of a sudden, I couldn't remember it. What's happening? Why can't I remember? Then a new song came to me. Wait, this isn't my song. I'll have to ask Mother about it when I get home. Mommy? She looked up at me from the couch where she and Virgil were watching TV. Remy, what is it? Why do you have coffee? What does it mean when you can't remember your soulmate song? Why can't I remember my song? Why do I know a different song? She paused and looked up at me from the TV. She looked sad. Where's Isaac? I don't know. He was being a meanie and we got into a fight. Then he ran home. We gotta go find him. Kevin, watch Virgil. The man behind us nodded and moved into the living room by the couch. Mommy, what's going on? She led me outside and jumped in the car. I sat down in shotgun and tried asking her again. Baby, why don't you sing me your new song, okay? Can you do that while I drive to Ian's house? I nodded and looked at the road in front of us. Loving is fighting, accusing, dying. I can't imagine a world with you gone. The joy and the chaos, the demons we're made of. I'd be so lost if you left me alone. You locked yourself in the bathroom, lying on the floor when I break through. I pull you in to feel your heartbeat. Can you hear me screaming? Please don't leave. Hold on, I still want you. Come back, I still need you. Let me take your hand, I'll make it alright. I swear to love you all my life. Hold on, I still need you. A long, endless highway, you're silent beside me. Driving a nightmare I can't escape from. Helplessly praying the light isn't fading. Hiding the shock and the chill in my bones. They took you away on a table. I pace back and forth as you lay still. They pull you in, feel your heartbeat. Can you hear me screaming? Please don't leave me. Hold on, I still want you. Come back, I still need you. Let me take your hand, I'll make it alright. I swear to love you all my life. Hold on, I still need you. I don't wanna let go. I know I'm not that strong. I just wanna hear you saying, baby, let's go home. Let's go home. Yeah, I just wanna take you home. Hold on, I still want you. Come back, I still need you. I was crying now, and I didn't know why. I looked over at Mom. She was crying too. Remy. She looked over at me. I have something to tell you. A car crashed into us. Everything seemed to slow down in those few seconds. The car was flipping. Glass was scattering in the air. I felt like I was floating in my seat, but my seatbelt was stopping me. I couldn't hear anything in those seconds. The car flipped over. I hit my head. Everything went black. I woke up in a bright room. I slowly opened my eyes to see Virgil and Kevin at the end of the bed. Virgil was crying and Kevin was looking at the ground. He's probably only there because Father can't show his face without someone noticing him as a bad guy. Virg? They both shot their heads up. Oh, Remy! Virgil came to hug me, but everything hurt. Virgil, let your brother rest. You're hurting him. Virgil nodded and sat back down in the chair by Kevin. A bit later, a doctor came in and gave me a checkup. He said something about me staying there for a few days, but that wasn't what I was worried about. You're lucky he survived. If not for his mother, he could have been killed, just like her. I can't believe this. 3 patients in one day. 2 deaths. What do you mean? A boy was rushed to the emergency room a few hours ago. Didn't make it. And your mother. Who is the boy? That's classified. Isaac? Back to present day. It's funny to think about. My mother and soulmate died on the same day I drank my first coffee. That's probably why I'm addicted to this stuff. At least Father doesn't have to deal with the even worse pain of having a sad song stuck in your head for losing your soulmate. Father and Mother weren't soulmates. Father never had one, and Mother died before she met them. But they loved each other, and had me and Virg. Oh, hey Rem, what's wrong? Virgil crouched down to where I was sitting on the floor of my room. I didn't know why he went into my room or how he got in since I locked the door. I leaned my head against his shoulder and broke down. Thinking about them again? I miss her too. I wish I knew Isaac better. At least you're still here. I sighed and fell limp as his arms wrapped around me. Both of us are crying now, holding each other on the ground, crying. Thanks, bro. I managed to get out. I felt Virgil nod. It's okay, Rem. You'll always have me. I'm your brother. I would never leave you. I love you to infinity and beyond. Eventually, we had to get off the floor. He helped me to my bed and wrapped me in a blanket. What time is it? About 1 a.m. He walked around the room and picked up my phone. He turned it on and scrolled through it for a minute before I Won't Give Up started playing softly on my speaker. I leaned my head against the wall and closed my eyes. I heard a bit of shuffling and some other noise. Rem, you need to take your pills. Come on. I held out my hand and felt him place 2 pills in it. I popped them in my mouth and swallowed before he could give me water to down it. You really shouldn't take dry pills. He sat down beside me and laid his head on my shoulder. It was way too quiet for my liking right now. Hey, Virg, why did you threaten your soulmate? Didn't like him. Already? Damn little bro. He looks annoying, and way too out there. So am I. I laughed. Yeah, but you have an actual fashion sense, unlike Mr. Way Too Bright Colors for this world, and you get me. It's my job. If I didn't understand your emo head, you understand my coffee-addicted self. You really need to work on that, Rem. I know. But it's hard. I know, Rem. Everything went silent. And after a bit, I started feeling tired. I felt my eyelids starting to close, and before I knew it, I woke up to my alarm. Chapter 7. That Line. Roman's POV. Well, fuck. I fell in love with the gang leader's son. How the hell did that happen? 1 second we're singing, the next he was threatening me, and the next I was daydreaming about us being together. It can't be the fact that we're soulmates, right? What are the bad things about him? His clothes? No, that's a hot topic. His hair? No, I like to dye purple. His personality? Nope, it's cute when he tries threatening people. His eyes? Oh, no. His eyes are beautiful. How does someone have purple and silver eyes? It's amazing. His voice? Definitely not. He has the voice of an angel. Well, fuck. I'm head over heels for this guy. I'm so fucking gay. It's almost like someone wrote me to love him and make me feel weird for liking someone like him. After what happened at lunch, nobody would stop bothering me about it. Emil, Joan, and Thomas alone asked me over 1,000 questions. The rest of the people at school kept coming up to me and bothering me about it, or just kept staring and pointing at me. We aren't even friends. Those words struck me all day. Does he even want a soulmate? Or does he want to be one of those sad people that are born without them? I was walking home from school with Remus. Neither Dad or Father could pick us up from school today. Something about working late. Remus was his own little world, walking beside me. He had some headphones on and wasn't even paying attention to me. How rude! I yanked the headphones off his head and put them on. Is this... No. I burst out laughing. Why was my brother, the most sickeningly evil person I know, listening to this? Hey, give them back! Remus tried to get the headphones out of my hands, but failed. Explain, now. I like it all right. Give it back. I didn't take you as the kind of person to like this stuff, Ree. Shut up, I'll rip off your nipples and shove them up your nose. He finally grasped the headphones and shuffled them back into his backpack. So, you in the gang, kid? I stopped. Why did you have to bring this up when we were having so much fun? What about it? Is he why you don't like talking about the soulmate thing? How long have you known? Is it why you were so bummed out on Friday? Yes, since Friday. Kind of. We're almost home and Remus hasn't pushed the topic of my soulmate anymore. Is he planning something? We got home and almost immediately I flopped on the couch. Remus, I want to watch Toy Story. I don't fucking care what we watch. I'll be down in a few. What's he planning? He usually comes running down in a Woody costume once he hears that I'm watching Toy Story. There's something going on. Minutes later, he basically jumped down the stairs and set the movie up in record time. You are a toy. You are not a real... I'm home, kiddos. I heard the door shut and Dad putting the keys on the hook. What you guys watching? Toy Story, Remus and I said simultaneously. Oh, neato. I'm gonna go start dinner. But it's only 4:50. Spaghetti takes perfection. We all laughed and went back to the movie. So, Roman, restarted, interrupting the movie. Do you like your soulmate? What do you mean? Like, do you want to fuck him? I don't even know him, Ree. But do you like him? I don't know, just leave it for now. Oh, touchy. Father returned a while ago and was watching the movie with us. He kept pointing out the illogical it is for toys to be able to move and talk and feel emotions, but that only increased my answer being, it's Disney, it don't matter. Remus didn't try talking about what happened during lunch again. At least he has the brain cells to know that it'll pulverize him with my bare hands and my sword if he does. The movie ended and Dad called us to the dinner table. So, how was school today, kiddos? I tensed up and looked down at my lap. My face was heating up, and I couldn't help but blush. I really am in love with this guy. I looked over at Remus for help, but he was only smiling at my misery. Oh, Remus, how was your day? Oh, pretty normal. Corrected my teacher a few times, called everybody a dork, the usual. Except lunch. That was amazing, but Roman could tell you more about it than I can. He looked back at me smiling like he was a fucking angel. Oh, what happened at lunch to make you think of it as of value of importance? Father put his fork down and turned towards me. Well, you see, I kind of met my soulmate and nobody expected him, and it was just kind of a mess, and like, he didn't even think of us as friends. I got out of breath and covered my face with my hands. I looked over at Father and Dad through fingers to see them trying to process what I said. I kind of met my soulmate, and nobody expected to be him, and everybody was judging me, and he said he didn't even think of us as friends. Oh my cookie, Loki, found his soulmate. Remus nodded and smiled at me like he was the purest fucking ray of sunshine on the damn planet. If he doesn't stop this damn innocent thing, I will disown him as my brother. Who is it? Well, it's this new kid at school, and he's relatively famous for certain things. You appear to be avoiding telling us his name and are being rather vague. Is something wrong with him? Oh, no, nothing's wrong. It's just that he said he doesn't think of us as friends or anything in general, and I don't think he likes the idea of soulmates, I said while twiddling my thumbs under the table. They both seemed to be thinking about it, and everything was silent. Time skipped to later. I laid in my bed awake and thought about the thing that happened at lunch again. It was as if he was challenging me. It's true that we don't know anything about each other and that we look like complete opposites, but there was a certain thing in his eye. He looked kind of sad or worried. What's the word? Oh, Father? I knocked on the door gently and opened the office room door. Father was working on his computer and writing a few things down. Yes, Roman? He turned his head a little and looked at me. What's a word that means sad or like a longing feeling, like mourning? Something kind of scared? He paused what he was doing and thought for a moment. If I'm correct, the words you were looking for is lament and anxious. Lament is a word that means expressing sadness and mourning for something. Anxious means experiencing worry and unease or nervousness, typically for an imminent event or something with a certain outcome. Yep, that's my father. Logan Barry Kingsley. Human Dictionary. Having a former brain surgeon, now lead scientist, father really does come in handy sometimes. I guess Virgil had lament and anxiousness in his eyes. But why? What evils did he face to have to look in his eyes after meeting his soulmate? Is there a problem with me? I thanked Father, and after having a small talk about how I should be asleep and the importance of sleep, he sent me back to bed. Hypocrite. We're not even friends. Why is that line getting to me? It is a challenge? Is he challenging me to try to get to know him? Why would he do that? Does he even want a soulmate? Does he not want to think of us as friends? Why is he so cute? Questions were racing through my brain, and I couldn't stop thinking. Yes, Roman, no. It was probably a challenge. Now, go to sleep. Rima's voice spoke from the darkness that is our room. How did you know I was thinking about that? It's a challenge? How would Remus know? I'll ask about it in the morning. Time skipped to morning. Hey, Ree. Remus and I were sitting in our room waiting for Dad to finish getting ready to drive us to school, and I felt like it was a perfect time to ask my twin about the challenge. What? What makes you think that he was challenging me? Again with this? Well, first, he was obviously remembering something, and his brother looked to be on the verge of tears. Second, he's a gang leader's son. He's obviously the type to challenge someone with a threat or whatever that shit was. Third, it's you. If it wasn't a challenge, you wouldn't be so worried about it being a challenge. So, it was a challenge. Well then, challenge accepted. Sweet. How do you plan on doing this? Do we have to kill someone to get his attention? My twin said with a sadistic grin. No, we're not killing someone. I'm just gonna try to get to know him. He said friends, not partners in murder. Speaking of killing, you completely obliterated that emo doll you just still haven't gotten rid of. I'm waiting for someone to help me first. And who is this someone? One of the readers volunteered. Don't worry about it. Readers? What the hell are you talking about? Come on, kiddo, it's time for school. And just like that, the topic dropped. At school. Emily and I walked to homeroom together, occasionally stopping to say hi to someone. Em helped when he was helping the school therapist. I kept thinking I saw Virgil walking through the crowds of people, but I could never fully see. We finally made it to class, and I sat in my usual seat by the window. I watched as people started entering the classroom, but no Virgil. The bell rang. Where was he? The teacher started taking roll call, and I was getting worried that he wasn't there today. Virgil? She looked up from her computer. Virgil? I'm here. Virgil walked through the door and made his way to his desk behind me. You're late. He sat down and flipped her off. And you're getting paid less than minimum wage. Guess we both got something to brag about. The teacher scowled at him and continued roll call. Hey. I leaned back and saw him roll his eyes. I just want to say sorry. For what? For causing a scene at lunch yesterday. Whatever, dude. Stop talking to me. No can do. We're soulmates and you insist on not being friends, so I made it my goal to get to know you and prove I'm worth it. Can't we stop talking about this? I don't like soulmates. Or people, for that matter. Whatever you say, my love, but know this, no matter how hard you refuse, I will achieve my goal. Chapter 8. That line, Virgil's point of view. Father called us and told us nobody was going to pick us up from school. Stupid, really. This morning he said Matt would pick us up, and here we are, sitting outside the school getting ready to walk home. Remy looked a little down, but I couldn't figure out why. You want to stop at Starbucks? I thought you were getting better with this coffee addiction. Please, Virg, I need coffee in my life. Fine. He smiled and started walking away from school. I sighed and started following him. It was only 3:50. I don't see why we can't take our time. He typed the nearest Starbucks into Google Maps and led the way. You would think that this idiot would have all the Starbucks in the state memorized. We walked around a bit before Remy stopped. I didn't see any coffee shops around here. Why was he stopping? Oh. I looked to where he was staring to see a movie theater. It looked like an average theater, but the memories around it aren't so great. I looked back at my brother to see him nearly on the brink of tears. I grabbed his arm and started leading him away. Come on, Rem. It's okay. Let's get your coffee and go home. We walked a bit more, avoiding the park, and went into a random coffee shop. It wasn't Starbucks, but it was a nice small shop. There were a few pastries on the counter and a few workers behind it. I led Remy to the counter and looked up the menu. Pick something, Rem. We don't have all day. He took a little bit and looked at the menu. Just get me a simple mocha. I don't really care as long as I get coffee. I laughed and looked at the worker behind the register. Mocha and a hot chocolate. Can I get some of those cookies too? Of course, kiddo, and I can espresso how good these cookies taste. Did he just... He did. He made a coffee pun. Yeah. I let out a small laugh and looked up at the barista. Anyways, that'll be $9.49. I handed him a $10 bill. Name? Virgil. With that, I turned and dragged Remy to a random table in the corner of the shop. We sat across from each other, not saying anything. I waited for a moment before taking his shoulder. He took his head, coming out of the trance, and looked at me. Remy, no. What? I didn't say anything. I'm stopping you before you do something, he said and let out a small laugh. He knew that I knew what he was thinking. I let out my own laugh. I hate you. I hate you too, bro. We're not even friends. What? Why the hell? No, I don't want to think about that right now. He's my soulmate. I don't like soulmates. I have all I need. I don't want to be forced into loving someone. Or worse. I said it, and I meant it. I don't know the guy, and I don't want to know him. Just stop thinking about it, Virgil. Do something else. I started humming a song and looked out the window. I don't know what I was humming, and in all honesty, I didn't care. I shouldn't think about it too much. A few minutes passed and I heard the barista yell out my name. As I walked to the counter, I thought about how the hell no one here realizes that we're literally the sons of the most feared people in town. Humans are just stupid. I walked over to the counter and grabbed the drinks and my cookie, and I walked back to Remy without saying anything. Come on, Rennie. Take your coffee, get up, and let's go home. I don't want to be in public any longer. These people aren't my people. He sighed, but stood up, grabbing his coffee, and started walking out the door with me following shortly behind. This boy's depressed as fuck right now. We got home, and Remy started walking up to his room. He barely said anything on the walk home, but what he did say let me know that he'll be fine for a bit. He just needs to think about some things. I walked through the house, making my way to Father's office. I knocked on the door. Come in. I slowly opened the door and looked into his office. It looked like I came right in the middle of a meeting. Fuck. Across from Father were two people. One looked like some weird critic, and the other guy looked like he just wanted to go home and bundle in a red panda onesie for the rest of his life, but got dragged here instead. I just wanted to ask you something, but it can wait. It's all right. Come here and meet these two. They're going to be helping me with a little project. I nodded a bit and walked fully into the room and stood to the right of Father. Introduce yourself. Stand up straight. I nodded again and turned to face the men. I'm Virgil. Sorry for disturbing your meeting, but Father never told us that he was going to have guests over. The one dressed like the most judgmental person ever sighed, but said, You could call me critic. This here is my acquaintance, Camden. The one next to him gave a small wave. I nodded and turned back to Father. May I go now? I really must check on Remy. Father cut me off by waving his hand in the air. Nonsense! I want you to hear this. I'm sure Remy will be fine for a bit. He hasn't been that bad in ages. I sighed, but leaned off the wall behind the desk regardless. Father nodded to the other two, so they could continue the plan or whatever. I stood there for what seems like forever, barely listening to the conversation. Virgil! 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 I snapped out of my small trance I was in and turned towards Father. In a week you'll be getting company at school. Critic here has presented me with the idea of getting you and your brother an undercover bodyguard type thing in case everything goes to shit. Why? You ask questions like that, nothing gets done. But you ask questions like that and everything makes sense. Don't question me. I nodded and looked back down at the floor. Why do we need a bodyguard? You're excused, Virgil. I nodded again and made my way through the room to the door. I closed the door and let out a breath I didn't know I was keeping in. I made my way to Remy's door and leaned my head on it. I still need you. Oh no. I softly knocked on the door. Remy? Dinner time? I heard a bit of shuffling on the other side before a very exhausted-looking Remy opened the door. He nodded and followed me to the dining room. He sat down on the table as I went to grab our plates from the kitchen. Of course there's no food ready. I walked to the cabinet and pulled out 2 instant ramens and started boiling the water. I walked out of the kitchen to check on Remy, and he's not there. Time skip. I'm about to go back to my room after a midnight snack when I hear something in Remy's room. Is that crying? I walk up to the door and listen a bit more. Oh, shit. I try opening the door, but it's locked. The one time he remembers to lock his door. I quickly dig my pocket for anything to help me to open the door. Pocket knife? I pull it out and slip it between the door frame and the door, looking for the lock. Click. I open the door and see him sitting on the ground with his knees against his chest, crying and humming a tune. Time skip to later. It's hard. I know, Rem. A bit passed and I started feeling a bit sleepy. Remy had fallen asleep on my shoulder a few minutes ago, but I didn't want to move him. I don't want to move. I gently leaned my head on top of Remy's and let the dark abyss of sleep consume me. Warren's POV. I opened Remington's door gently and peeked inside. Both of the boys were leaning against the wall. Remy had his head on Virgil's shoulder, and Virgil had his head on top of his. I pulled out her phone and quickly took a picture. I hope you're seeing this. Oh, boys are going to be alright. They have each other. They'll be better than me. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you really like this, go and support the creator. They deserve all the love, and their writing is amazing, so please do that. Additionally, if you'd like to check out any of my social medias, look in the description below. I have a phone now, so I'll be checking all of the socials, constantly, and it's great. I get notifications. I go on Tumblr now, a lot. So, yeah, it's been fun. Please feel free to leave suggestions for future Wattpad relouds in the Google form below, along with going to my second channel where I post random silly vids and sometimes update videos, and sometimes even contests and group things. Right now, I'm having people submit profile pictures for me to use because I want to switch mine up a little bit, but I have no ideas. So if you'd like to participate in that, check out that video. Thank you so much for listening. If you click on the screen, you'll get the playlist to all the Wattpad relouds, so you can listen to all over 100 videos if you'd like to, if you have a spare week. And like always, do your best.